Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Gathering the Magic. We're all gathering the magic. And today this is part 2 of the card market watch for February 2nd, 2025. So we're going to do a deep dive into the marketplace. We're going to look at all the different cards, different rarities from each set, just so we have kind of a visual record going forward in the months and years to come. How many cards are in the market at a certain time, how many cards are in circulation, and what the prices are. So we're going to start at the beginning, of course, with alpha. So these are your alpha commons, 20 commons in the set. So the prices on the low end of these have come down over the last couple weeks. We were pushing like 90 cents to $1 for the cheapest alpha commons. As you can see, there's a few here now under 90 cents. So you've got the Fire Beetle sitting at 51. You've got Minotaur Warrior sitting at 60 cents, Giant Rock at 78, and Goblin Sorcerer sitting at 87 cents. Not a lot of copies available for these cards, but there are some available for under $1. And you can see the prices here. And the highest price card is a Silver Shield Warrior sitting at $2. Months ago when I was doing this would usually be one of the low-end cards. And back then, the low-end alpha cards were like, in the 20 to 30 cent range. So a lot has happened over the last 6 to 9 months as far as alpha cards go for prices. Looking at rares, so now your low-end rares, you're getting, to the $1.20, $1.50 range for your low-end alpha rare cards. Some of the interesting things to look at, though, is the cheapest alpha rare is actually a summoner, so this might actually be a good buy. So we go from $1.20 all the way up to $4.46 for this Silver Shield Paladin. So some of these prices, as you can see, seem kind of out of place, with a summoner being the cheapest. Alric you would think would be one of the more expensive cards in the set, and it is, but it's still, $1.40 behind the Silver Shield Paladin. So there are some good deals out here, I still think, especially if you can pick up, alpha summoner cards, for under $2. I think that's a pretty good deal. Let's just look at the summoners now. So you can see $1.20 for Zintar, $1.26 for Malric, $1.60 for Tyrus, $2.25 for Liana, and then $3.02 for Alric. So still, considering these were the first set printed by Splinterlands, I still think these are very affordable, especially being a rare. Okay, let's move on to the epic cards. So your epics, 10 in the set, you can see they're all represented here. $2.82 from the Fire Demon, up to $11.15 for Servant of the Flame. Once again, your circulating numbers are right around, 1,000 to about 1,200 for each of these epic cards, but you can see how few of them are actually on sale in the marketplace. So anywhere from 3 to 12 copies of these epics. And then of course your legendaries are even more scarce, ranging in price from $20 to just over $200 for Selenia Sky for a single copy. One card that I noticed that moved up in price over the last couple of weeks of Lord of Darkness. This has usually been the cheapest card, anywhere between $18 and $20, and currently there's only a single copy for sale, and it's for $33.41. So not a lot of movement. There's not a lot of people that are interested in, the alpha cards with a lot of things going on in Splinterlands. The main thing being survival mode, people looking forward to the next phase of land, looking forward to Conclave Arcana, focusing on modern. So there's not a whole lot of tension on some of these older cards. So it's another reason I like doing the market watch, is just kind of bring this more to the view so people can see what the rest of the card market is doing besides just the modern cards. So that is for your regular foils. So now for your gold foil versions, there's just a few cards now under $20 for gold foil commons. Over the last couple months, there's been like one card under $20, and then they were all just, started to skyrocket in price. But, keep in mind as well, these are commons, and there's only, 300-400 of each in circulation. And on the marketplace, there's as few as, single copies of some of these. And these are common cards. These are supposed to be the most plentiful. But since it was alpha, extremely low printed set, being the first set ever issued. Plus with these gold foils, I believe you cannot use potions when you open these packs. So you're only going to get a 2% chance of pulling a gold foil. There's no way to double it to 4. makes these gold foil alphas even, harder to pull. Moving to the rare cards, you have a single copy. That's $35. You've got Medusa, 3 copies of it, but this is the only card at 35, and next it jumps up to 60 for the next cheapest gold foil rare for the clay golem. And then you can see the prices quickly go to 100. Many of these are only single BCX. Up to Frozen Soldier, there's 2 copies. Cheapest is at $2,450. Once again, let's look at summoners. Are all the summoners here? Yep, so there's at least one of each summoner. Liana is at $80 all the way up to $2,000 for Ulrich. So considering how rare these cards are and they are summoners, I think these two are very good deals being under $100, especially when compared to the rest of them. So not financial advice, but just, look at the price variations and how many, single copies out of 4 or 5 of these on the marketplace. So extremely hard to get cards. Moving on to the epics. So your epics, all 10 are available in gold foil, which I think is pretty impressive since, there are 10. At least a single copy of all of these are on the marketplace, which is nice because now we can see the circulation numbers. So now you're looking at, under 80 copies of these gold foil epics. And this is total in circulation. So could be single BCX copies or multiple, but you can see extremely low and rare valuable cards here, ranging in price from $165 for the Naga Warrior to $2,800 for Magi of the Forest. And then your gold foil legendaries, there's only 3 of the 9 cards represented here. Lord of Darkness has come down, I believe it was $2,450. It is now at $1,750, only 21 cards in circulation. Selenia's Sky for $12,000, only 22 cards in circulation. And Elemental Phoenix, $155,000, asking price, 17 in circulation. So one of the reasons, I'm so big on alpha packs, holding them going forward, is because of this. The chance of pulling a gold foil alpha legendary, although it's minuscule, you've got a chance of pulling one of these, and I think over time those alpha pack prices will do very, very well. Okay, so that's it for Alpha Core. Now let's look at the promo cards. So for your promos, there was 1 for each rarity. So we have a common, rare, and legendary. There isn't an epic for sale this week. Your common, the Dragon Whelp, is at $376. So if you'd love to have just a dragon card from Alpha that's affordable, Dragon Whelp's a pretty cool card. It is Little League and it is flying, so if you're playing in Wild, would be a cool option. When was the last time you saw a Dragon Whelp in Wild? Nebseni, $12.50 for the Summoner, +1 speed. And then Shinlo, Legendary Dragon, 1 mana cost for $533. For gold foil versions, there's just the common and rare, same price as they were a couple weeks ago, $9.99 for the common and then $59 for the rare. Okay, that's it for alpha. Let's move on to beta, the core and reward cards. So let's just look at regular foil commons. So you're looking at 5 cents, 6 cents is the floor. So the floor price has been slowly creeping up, from 3-4 cents. Now we're getting closer to like 9-10 cents for the floor price of the beta commons. So we'll scroll through these. You can see all these cards up to, and as I mentioned in part 1, the Flesh Golem sitting at $4.90. And this is for a multiple BCX copy. So even if this was a single BCX copy, you'd be looking at around 98 cents. Typically this card is more, in the 10 to 11 cent range, but all the single BCX copies are gone. So that is why that card is $4.90. Other than that, Crustacean King sitting at 89 cents, and then the Silver Shield Knight at 48. But still, if you're playing in Wild, a lot of great cards you can get single BCX copies of just for pennies. So another thing I was wondering too, with survival mode right around the corner, how many of these very useful cheap cards are going to get sucked up off the marketplace, like a very cheap sneak card, like the Cobalt Miner that's only 24 cents, or the Elven Cutthroat for 19, Cube 16 cents, a lot of very good beta cards that are cheap and affordable for survival mode. Everyone's concentrating on Chaos Legion, but don't forget about beta and untamed cards. Okay, moving to the rares for beta. So now you're looking at 27, getting close to 30 cents for the floor for your beta rare cards. So Clay Golem and Octopiter are your cheapest at 27 cents. Silver Shield Assassin, such a great card with sneak and double strike at 30 cents. So we'll scroll here. Chicken has moved up in price to 51 cents. And then as you can see, the summoners have been moving up as well. Liana 69 cents, Zentar at 90, Tyrus at $1.35, Malric $1.25, and then Alric had gotten some copies of him under 2. Now he's sitting at 250. So these beta cards are also slowly ticking up. Your epics, 71 cents for the Manticore. You can see the circulation and print runs here. All the way to 678 for the Air Elemental. And then finally for your beta legendary cards, $3.93 for the Black Dragon. Lord of Darkness, we saw the alpha version was at, what was it, above $30 for the alpha. So seeing a beta Lord of Darkness at $5.88, I think this might be a good pickup for someone. I think that is very, very underpriced. All the way to Voldemort at $149.99, but this is for multiple BCX. This is for a level 2, 3 BCX copy. Per BCX prices, you can see here, are still $50 plus for Voldemort. So Prince Reneth at 23, Selenia Sky just at under 25, Cryptmancer at 19, Plato at 28. Some other key cards from the set. So now let's look at the gold foil versions. So $1.50, $1.60 is the floor for your gold foil beta commons. All the way to $24.99 for Pirate Captain. So pretty overpriced, but as you can see, there's only 2 copies available. Grumpy Dwarf, this should probably be, $1, $2 card. $10.94, it's the only one listed on the marketplace. Flesh Golem is one of the top cards, so if this is at $6.23, you know that these are very overpriced. Skeleton Assassin, $7.48, but then, it is the only copy on the marketplace. Looking at your rares. So now your rare beta gold foils, you're looking at $6.65 is the cheapest for the Boogeyman. So you can see some of the summoners, just over 11 for Tyrus, 12 for Liana, just under 14 for Malric, gold foil summoner, Zentar at $17.71, gold foil chicken at $20, gold foil Alric at $18. That is not a bad price. But then you get to single copies. Hobgoblin $160 is, incredibly overpriced. So you always have to keep your eye on the marketplace at how many are in circulation and on how many are listed on the market. Generally, if there's only a single copy or 2 or 3, you want to kind of stay away from them if you think that they are overpriced. And it's pretty obvious that this bottom row, being the low supply, is very overpriced. Okay, moving on to epics. So Divine Sorceress at $30.75. Up to $500 for Talia Firestorm. You can see the only copy on the marketplace, and there are just over 100 copies available. And then finally your gold foil legendaries. Lord Arianis is sitting at $300. Let it load the correct graphics. All the way to Spirit Miner, a single copy available for $77,000. Plato, single copy for $1,500. Lightning Dragon, single copy for $1,250. So those are your gold foil legendary cards from beta. Now let's look at your promo cards. So the one card I always like looking at is the common Dragon Summoner, because people are going to need Dragon Summoners for survival mode. and this is your cheapest option. You can see there's three copies available for right around $1, and then you start jumping up to $1.25 to $1.50 very quickly. But there are quite a few on the marketplace under $2. So if you do need a Dallan to level up, or if you're just looking up at picking up a lot of single copies for survival mode, there are some available. The rest of the prices are pretty consistent of where they've been over the last few months. I mentioned in part 1 that Prince Julian has ticked up a little bit to $5.49, and Archmage Arius is no longer on the marketplace. And then your gold foil versions, the only gold foil available for the promos is at Dallan, sitting the cheapest copy at $9.89, and then it quickly jumps to 15 plus. So if you just want one copy, here's your chance to get snag one for under 10 bucks before they go $15 and higher. Okay, so let's next go to, since we're here, let's go to orbs next. Small set, common cards, not much to say here. 7 cents to 21 cents is pretty standard. For your rares, 30 cents to, this card kind of spiked, Undead Archer. Usually these are all between 28 and 40 cents, so Undead Archer has seen a little bit of a price spike. Your epics, there's only 2 epics in the set. The Wizard at $1.08, the Healer at $2.45. And then your 3 legendary cards, the Minotaur Warlord at $3.91, Corrupted Pegasus at $9.49, and Lord of Fire at $10. And then your gold foil, you can see here they go from $2 to $4.72. Your rares, $6.50 for the Bard to $13.21 for the Electric Eels. For your epics, Dwarven Wizard has been the only epic for the last couple months. He's been coming down in price from, I believe, $89 about 3 months ago. Now he's down to $59. And then finally your legendaries, as I mentioned in part 1, the Minotaur Warlord came down from 600 to 500, and Corrupted Pegasus is still at an asking price of $990. Okay, so let's move on now to Untamed, core and reward cards. See if some of these cards are going to start drying up as well as survival mode. Sounds like it's right around the corner, so there's a lot of great common cards from Untamed that are still affordable, starting at 1 cent, going all the way to some key cards like Failed Summoner, couple of my favorites, the Spy and Sandworm, even single BCX, 7 cents, very, very affordable. Parasitic Growth being a neutral card, Little League, with opportunity. This pairs nicely with some summoners to boost up its damage. So 19 cents for that, but don't underlook cards like Demented Shark. They give everything Inspire, for 11 cents. So definitely check out Untamed as well if you're looking for some affordable cards to build up your survival deck. Looking at the rares, so we're starting at 6 cents for the Dark Ferryman, all the way to, just even a simple card like Ice Pixie, that 1 magic damage and flying for 2 mana. Very useful card, very easily put in many decks, and it's only sitting at 10 cents. So that's another card to kind of keep an eye on, as well as your summoners. If you can get summoners for, 25 cents or less, I still think that's a fantastic buy for survival mode. Dragon Summoner, Drake of Arnak. So if Dallan is unavailable, he's sitting at around $1. Don't forget about Drake of Arnak. He is a Dragon Summoner, only costs 4, and he gives everyone armor. Let's see how many copies of this card are available. And we'll see how quickly they disappear off the market after people watch this video. As you can see, 1 or 2 copies, guys. 2 copies, a single BCX under $1. And then you're looking at, multiple BCXs. So if you just want a single copy for survival mode, there's only 2 available. After that, this is still very reasonable. These next 2 cards, if you're looking for higher level, $2.50 for a level 3, under $7 for a level 5. Very affordable. You can see the price per BCX. But once again, if you're just looking for single copies, there's only 2 available. So then your rares go up to price to $1.24 for the Dark Astronomer. Looking at your epics from Untamed, 19 cents for the Evangelist, up to X-Master, so this has seen a little bit of a price bump. He's up to 99 cents. I believe Hero from Beyond was the highest price 2 weeks ago. And then finally for your legendary cards, just over $1 is the floor, all the way to some key cards. And this price has already changed since I did part 1 of the Market Watch. Kron, there was Krons available for $5, and that is now gone. So now you're looking at prices. This is pretty much what they were 2 weeks ago, just over $6. So right around $6.27, $6.40. So someone bought the $5 Krons that were listed earlier. The rest of the cards look like they're the same. Kitty is still at 42. Jotun is sitting at 40. Llama is sitting at just under 27. Mimosa sitting at under 8 is a pretty good buy. Cornelius at $6 is another good buy. Magnor Taunt card under 3 is very good. So there are some good legendary cards here, you know, for under $3. So definitely check out Untamed. And let's look now at the gold foil versions. So gold foil commons. So you're sitting right around 50 cents for the floor for gold foil Untamed common cards. These do start at level 3. So once again, don't forget about just getting a single copy of a gold foil common for survival mode. You know, we'll start at level 3, so as long as you don't have level 1 summoners, you know, that's going to give you a slight advantage over someone that just does the single BCX regular foils, plus these. The cooldown is shorter. I'm not sure exactly what the ratio is compared to a regular foil. I don't know if they come off cooldown twice as fast, but another advantage for gold foil cards, besides being, you know, a higher level, is they do come off that cooldown a little bit quicker. So definitely keep those in mind. For your rares, you're looking at just under $2 for the Dark Ferryman and Dark Astronomer, all the way to highest price card, $25 for Unicorn Mustang. That seems way high. Pyre, one of the summoners, is sitting at $6.90. Let's just kind of look at the summoner prices for gold foils. So now you're looking at $2.09 for Contessa. $3 for Bortus seems pretty good. $5.65 for the Drake for the Dragon Summoner, and then $6.90 for Pyre. But you can see very few of these on the marketplace. So if you are interested in a gold foil summoner for survival mode, you know, just one copy so you can have a little bit higher than 1 BCX cards. There's not very many on the marketplace, but I think they are still very reasonably priced. Now epics, now you're looking at $9.40 for the Onyx Sentinel, but then it jumps to $11.40 for the next cheapest gold foil epic, all the way to $125 for Lobstradamus, but you can see it's the only one on the market. So a lot of these where there's only just a couple or few copies, you can see how high priced they are, above normal. So if you're looking at around $10 for the floor, I would say probably 30 to 35. It should probably be the high end. So, you know, a lot of these are overpriced just simply because there are very few on the marketplace, so people can set the price at what they want. And then finally, your gold legendary cards. $64 is the floor with the Diamond Dragon and Robo Dragon Knight. You can see the amount is up for sale on the marketplace. Up to Scale Doctor at $27.50. Kitty, gold foil Kitty makes a return, $2,500. $1,400 for the Vigilator, $12.49 for Jotun, $12.11 for the Sacred Llama Mage. And ever since about a month ago when that gold foil Kron was bought off the marketplace, I've not seen another one. So no gold foil Krons. Okay, so that's it for Untamed. Let's look at promo. So your 3 promo cards, Halfling Alchemist still the same as a couple weeks ago, $1.98. Chain Golem $3.85. Dricken at $9.95. But then the gold foil, $2.10 is the same for the Alchemist, but the Chain Golem jumped to $8.91 for a single copy, so that's probably why. So definitely don't buy that card compared to what the price was. You know, if you compare him to where he was compared to the Alchemist a couple weeks ago, yep, he's about twice the price he should be, if not more. Okay, so let's move on to dice. Very small set. So your commons 3 cents to surprise that this is 35. Usually Flamesmith is the highest, that and the battering ram are the top two, and even battering ram is usually, around 10 cents or so. So I'm not sure why this one is so high priced unless it's not a multiple BCX. So for some reason this card has been bought out and listed a lot higher. You can notice there's only 11 on the marketplace. So if you're interested in this card, probably wait a few days and he'll be back down to the 3 to 8 cent range. For your rares, for your summoners, the card you always look for is Mylor. So how many are at 247? There are a few. So there's a few between 247 and 250. Looks like 9 copies. And then we're back to the 3 to 350 range. So if you're interested in some sub $3 Mylors, there's a handful of them out there. Bright and Blue is just under $1. Lorna Shine at 66 cents. Ouster at 51. And then your bottom two, Vera and Quid, at 16 cents and 27. Looking at your epics, once again, as I mentioned earlier, not sure why the Dragon Spirit jumped in price so much this week. It's about 10x of where it has been. Is this for a single BCX? Yes, it is. So there's single copies for around 350. Because normally you can see, like this one's max, it's around 52 cents. So, it's a big price difference there. So I would stay away from the Dragon Spirit until the price comes down, or you can get a, if you're looking to get a max level one for about 50 BCX, that's more of a normal price. And then finally for your legendary cards, opponent continues to go down. This has been a $25 to $40 card. Now it's down to 17. So this is about as low as I've seen. There's been some weeks where Krallis is around 17, and now he's at 30. But this is for a multiple BCX, so that makes more sense. Yeah, you can see normally you can get it between, $10 and $16 per BCX, maybe even under 10. So that's just because there's no single copies available in the marketplace. And then Oaken Behemoth, there is one copy, a single BCX for 30. But then there's also a max copy for 99, where you can see it's normally around $9 per BCX. Let's move to the gold. So your gold commons, 49 cents to $1.65. Your gold foils, which are your summoners. Now I'd mentioned over the last 2 months, whenever I see a Lorna Shine, around $6 or $7 for a gold foil, I say that's a pretty good deal. Now they're sitting at over 11. Oh, this is another one, Ouster. If you can get an Ouster, I think under $10 for a gold foil is a pretty good deal. Bright and Bloom under 7. So there are some good deals on some gold foil summoners, and this does change week to week. Quid Yuff has been, $4 or $5. This week a single copy is 15. So you have to kind of know the market and keep up to date with this, and you can get some good deals on some of these lesser known cards, especially, like I said, with summoners going to be needed in the not too distant future with survival mode. And then of course Mylor is sitting at the top at 18. Your epics, like I said, Dragon Spirit, not sure why this card has spiked so much, but a single gold foil, $50, $60, $70 seems very, very high priced. And then finally your legendary cards, $60 for Poseidon, all the way up to $300 for your top end card. I'm not going to try to pronounce that. All right, so that is Untamed. Okay, so now we're getting to Chaos Legion. So let's look at just the core and the first batch of reward cards. Not going to be a whole lot of surprises here. You guys know most of the cards are just a penny or two. So the high-end cards continue to be the top three. Scavo at 5 cents, the Goblin Psychic Healer at 3, and then Deep Lurker at 2. But there are some other, key cards that you can pick up for survival mode, like Disintegrator for a penny. It's fantastic to get card with Demoralize. Just a lot of good cards. Even something like the Scout, Opportunity for a penny. A card like that. So don't overlook some of these cards. Gargoyle Lion, if you're going to level it up a little bit and it gets that void, it can be a little bit annoying, but still some good cards to get there for a penny. For your rares, so you're looking, of course, the floor being 2 cents for these cards. Plenty on the market for now. Your Healer at 3. all the way to your summoners. So General Sloan, I believe he was around 11 cents, come up to 14, but still very affordable summoners for survival mode. And Obsidian's actually passed Kelia slightly, 24 cents to 23. Don't forget about Demon Shark and Curse Wendigo, some good tanks for survival mode, still 6 cents a piece. For your epics, you're looking at 9 cents is the floor for your epics. He's up to 91 cents now. Earlier today, Igor was the highest price card at 81 cents, and now currently he is the highest at 90 cents. So you can see here, he's had a little bit of a price spike over the last week. So he is sitting at 90 cents. And then for your legendary cards, your low end continues to be just under 50 cents for your low end legendary cards, up to your summoner cards. So Grandmaster Wraith, he's seen a little bit of a spike up to 3. Lily at 281, and then Immortalis and Possibilis are just above 3. Is this for a single copy? Are people finally realizing this card is good? Yep, and look at this, guys. 2 copies at 3, single copies. Then the next single copy jumps to 575. And then after that, you need to get multiple copies, but still, you can get a max level 1 for $1.50 for BCX. So under $17 for a max summoner. But look at how few are on the marketplace. You've got 3 max copies. You've got 4 copies that are for gold. And then you've got 3 single BCX. And that's it. And this is Chaos Legion. This is a set that's so massively overprinted. Oh, there's 9,000 of these in circulation, but just not many on the marketplace. I mean, look at compared to Immortalis, where there's 115. So some of these legendary summoners, there's quite a good amount of liquidity on the market, and it's just surprising Grandmaster Wraith is sitting there at only 10. Astral Entity only sitting at 20. So definitely keep your eye on the summoners. Okay, let's look at the gold foil versions now. So your gold foil commons are usually around 12, 13 cents. Yep, so your 13 cents is the floor for your gold commons. Oh, there's my Vampire Bat, one of my favorite cards. I don't know why. I love the Vampire Bat, and I still don't understand why this is in the Earth Splinter and not the Death Splinter. But it is what it is. Okay, up to 95 cents for the Hireling. So for your gold foil rares, which also include your summoners, you're starting out at just over 50 cents. Actually, the floor is getting close to 60 cents for a gold foil rare. All the way down to, let's look at the summoners. So $1.30 for General Sloan, $1.35 for Tarsa, $1.45 for Thaddeus Brood, $1.86 for Obsidian, and $2.40 for Kelia are your gold summoners. And then my favorites, the gold epics. Ooh, Tidebiter sitting at only $3.30. I do have a lot of plats that need water. So Forgotten One, Fire for $3.45, Magi Necrosi for $3.49. Usually the cheapest are these two because they're neutral. So people price these lower because they don't get the land bonus. But so there are 3 cards a little bit cheaper than them right now. But as you can see, most of them are still in that, kind of $3.50 to $4 range for most of your gold foil epics. There are a few just a little bit above that, but almost all of them are under 5, except for Acid Shooter is at $5.99, and then Narissa at $7.50. But if all you're interested in is not the specific card, but just the splinter of the card, for Earth and Water, there you can get a water one for $3.30. And where's your next cheapest Earth card? 100 Jarks at $3.95. And then finally your gold legendaries. The floor is just under 20 bucks, so right around $20 for your cheapest gold legendary. Up to, let's see if this has changed since earlier today. No, Lily Shieldpaw is there, $45 and 10 available. For quite a while I didn't see any gold foil lilies, and now you got a ton of them on the market. All single BCX, but you can see 3 at 45, then you jump to 50, close to 60, and then after that the last 2 are just the I don't want to sell at price. Alright, so that is Chaos Legion Corn Reward. Let's look at the Soulbound cards. So let's look at common, regular, soulbound. Pretty much a standard. Usually they're 5 to 8 cents. Right now, the possessed puppet is sitting there at 4 cents. Plenty in circulation on the marketplace. For your rares, these are interesting to look at because of the summoners to see what these will do in the future. So your summoner prices look like you're 31 cents all the way to 34 for your dragon summoner. So once again, if you need a dragon summoner for survival mode, don't forget about this card, which gives you speed and allows you to cast a gladiator. Your epics, $1.19 to $1.54 for Will-O-the-Wisp. A decent amount of all these in circulation. And then your legendary cards, looking at $5.80 for the Hulk, up to $8.70 for Avis. So when you get to more of the high-end ones, you're a little bit above $8 for the legendary cards. And then for gold foil versions, even for the commons, you can see some of the numbers are kind of low. So even though more of these were unlocked being common, there's not a whole lot of these on the market, considering these are common cards. Range in price from $1.10 to $3. Your rares go from $5.85 from Pyre Watch Devil up to $8.70 for the Dragon Summoner. Gold foil epics, now you really start getting the lower liquidity. As you can see, only a single copy of Zoc here for $85. 3, 4, 5, 6 copies. Only one Clockwork Aid available for sale. So there are, let's see what the difference is between the circulating and the unbound. So almost 6,000 of these are in circulation, but only 16 are available for sale. Wow. Extremely rare. And then finally, your legendary cards. Once again, there were 12 of these in the set. 3 of these, once again, are not even listed for sale on the marketplace, with Avis still sitting there at $5.50. So for Avis, just under 1,900 gold foils were pulled, but only 22 of them were unbound. All right, so now let's look at the promo cards. Let's just look at the regular foil. So Ruse and the Bear sitting at 9 cents. O'Sure sitting at $7.81. Dr. Blight, same as 2 weeks ago at $9.50. Zerial just under 13. But look at Lux Vega and Waka. These two cards have been kind of sub $200. These are, once again, only available at max level at level 4. But $349 is the cheapest now for Lux Vega. And then Waka, only 4 copies available. Of course, they are all max level. But 1 for $370, and then it jumps to $1,000, $1,000, $1,800. So these two summoners have really jumped up in price over the last couple weeks. And looking at the gold foils, you can see the common ones, $1.20, $1.33. Dr. Blight, under 50 at 41. O'Sure at 67.50. Zerial just under 90, and then Lux Vega at 3,000, and no gold foil Wakas for sale. Okay. So is there anything else we need to go through? Rift Watchers. Rift Watchers is next. So for your regular foil, usually Ash Mirage is the most expensive at 8 cents, but now Arachne Thug is sitting there at 14 cents. Your rares, Queen of Crows continues to be the highest priced rare at 25 cents. Your epics, and I thought this was unusual, look at Dallan. So Dallan's usually here with Aquatis. They're around 25 to 28 cents, somewhere in there. And I'm like, oh, this has got to be a multiple BCX. No, it's only one. There's a single copy for $3.25. There's a level 2 for $3.59, so about 90 cents per BCX, which is still high. And then there's a max level one for $35 at 76 cents, which is about 3 times what he usually goes for. I mean, usually this is like an $11 or $12 max summoner. So not sure why, but congratulations, Dallan. You have finally been shown the love. So very proud of you. But yeah, I was very surprised to see Dallan at the #1 spot above Ilthane, because it had been Ilthane and Thispa right around $1 have been the kind of the price for the summoners for these epics. So, yep, congrats go out to Dallan this week. He made it. He got there. Okay, and then for your legendaries, right around $2 for your low end legendaries, up to 18 for inevitable. Another card that's kind of been on the move up has been Runemancer Kai. For a long time I've seen this around, 250 to 350, right in that range. So Kai has now moved up to over 7 per BCX, and you can see a lot of copies here, $7, $8, $9. So I think people are realizing, that with the flying, the life leech, and magic damage, and a good tank, this has been kind of undervalued for quite a while. Okay, let's look at the gold foil versions. So 17 cents to 92 for your commons. For your rares, 77 cents up to 245 for Tinderlock. So just some great rares in this set across the board. Your gold foil epics, 447 for Scargor. Thispa, 44.49. It's only because it's the only one in the market and it's a max level card. So normally it's 445 per BCX, so that's about right. But yeah, the reason of the high price is there's just a single max copy, that's it. And then for your legendaries, 2250 is the floor with Mortius, up to $200 for inevitable. Okay, so that's it for Rift Watchers. So now we move on to Rebellion. So we will start, of course, just with the core set. So what are prices looking like? So you've got 5 cents for the floor, so this has been pretty consistent. 5 cents to anywhere right around 40 cents or so for your summoners, and then usually like your Lurking Puffer and some of your higher end 2-mana cards, or your healer, sitting at 20 cents. So nothing too unusual there. Rebellion continues to hold its value even down to the commons. And then your rares, you're usually 10, 12 cents for the low end ones, all the way up to your summoners and your Moxian Rebel. Moxian Rebel is above 2, now it's at 250. Soothsayer just under $1.50. One thing I thought was of note is Rosa has kind of flipped Fabino. Fabino had been around 60 cents. Rosa had been around 40, so that has changed. A lot of copies of Fabino, which I'm happy about because I still need to get a lot of Fabinos and Rosas. So those are the prices there. For your epics, 39 cents for the Hatchling, and then your next epic jumps to 70 for Harbinger of Chaos. Love that card. I think he's a little bit underpriced. I think he should be a little higher on the list. And then, of course, your top two with Captain Fellblade with the double attack and the sneak. And then this will be one of your new healers, your tank healers, Satha Toledo, sitting at $1.61. And don't forget about Iron Hood, because you're going to need the weapons training for archery damage, and that is in the Fire Splinter. So he's sitting there at $1.14. Don't forget about him. And what does he get at higher level? Does he get immunity? Yep, he gets immunity. So at level 3, he gets really good with that immunity. So very underappreciated card, I think. You're going to be seeing a lot of him in the new Modern. Okay, and then your low end legendary cards under $3. 3 of them here, all the way to Kitty, or the new Kitty, Tofu, sitting at 54, Lorcas at 27. Riskel Drath has been moving up from low to mid teens up to above 20. So those are your legendary cards. We went over the prices in part 1, so I won't go over the prices too much here. Just to kind of look overall at the market for like the gold foil commons, just to kind of have a picture of what the price is, how many are in circulation and on the marketplace, so that in March or April when Conclave Arcana comes out, we can kind of look back at this and say, okay, well, what were Rebellion prices at then? What were the gold foils going for? You can see the gold foil summoners are still comfortably 350 to 450 for your gold summoners. For your gold rares, just above $1.25 for most of them, in the $1.50 to $2 range. Then you're looking at your summoners. So Rosa at $4 might be a good buy. Fabino under $6. Soothsayer at $6.50. Torch Vizier 15, kind of a very high price. Not sure why. Only a couple on the market. Venus sitting at $8.75, and I just noticed. There are no Moxian Rebels. Interesting. Moxian Rebel is not on the market in gold foil. And then for your epics, just under $8 for Executioner Kron to just under 30. And finally, your gold legendaries. Once again, went over the prices in part one, but right around $40. The floor for a gold foil legendary has been very consistent with Rebellion, up to right around $400 for a gold foil Tofu. Okay, so let's look now at your reward cards. So these are the current Soulbound reward cards. 9 to 11 cents for the commons, pretty standard. Your rares, 34 to 39 cents. Your 7 epic cards from $1, just under $1.90 to $2, pretty consistent. And then your legendaries, $10 to $12 for your legendary cards, regular foil. And then for your gold foils, you're looking at $1.88 to just under $3 for your commons. Your rares, you'll notice not even one of each of them is up for sale on the marketplace. I believe 2 weeks ago, this was the only one listed for a gold foil rare, the Legionary. So starting to get some more gold rares on the marketplace, anywhere from $7.50 up to $48.50. So I would say normally these should be probably $7.50 to around $18 to $20. So a couple of them are overpriced, but if there's not very many to choose from, you either have to decide whether you want to pay up or not. Your epics, only 4 of the 7 are available for sale. $46.88 for Olivia, up to $50 for the Halfling Refugee. Hello there, Weaver. And then for your legendary cards, there is one for sale. It's not the $100,000 monkey. It is Galactus, who's impersonating Olivia. There we go. There's Galactus, with shield and taunt. He's sitting there at $498. Okay, so let's wrap up this long video with the promo cards. So we'll look at the regular foil. We'll start with the common. So the Mana Warden is still at 15 cents. And the gold foil is at $2.33. Looking at your rare cards, Enforcer is at 69. Mossbender at $2.03. The Shaman at $2.09. Night Stalker holding above $3 at $3.10. Sanctus Vicar at $3.95 with the Rear Cleanse. Grimbarden still holding at $4, and Rune Anarchist. And look at the one thing I really want to point out the reason this card is probably $4. Look at the amount in circulation. Only 814 for this rare card. Look at all the other ones. I mean, he's only at 1148, but all the other ones are 2,000 to 4,000, 6,000 for Grimbarden. Less than 1,000 of Rune Anarchist. So this is a card that might continue to hold its value and go up. So if you don't have this card yet, I don't think it's going to get much cheaper than 4. So just saying, I think, I'm trying to think if I have a single copy of it just to have it. But yeah, it's going to get quite pricey. I mean, if you want to get it up to level 4, just to get that phase ward, now you're looking at $100. So, ouch, very pricey card if you don't have it already. So now let's look at the gold foil versions now. So Henchling Enforcer, as I mentioned in part 1, had moved up quite a bit, up to $9.25. $13.40 for the Mossmender, $15 for Grimbarden Smith, just under $16 for the Warborn Shaman. Night Stalker, just under $17. Sanctus, same as 2 weeks ago, $18.13. And look at the gold foil. There's only 100 available compared to 400, 300, 500. So looking at $50 just for a rare gold foil compared to those. Okay, and now let's go to your legendary cards. So Baron Fiat sitting at $4.46, Ulfga sitting at $14.50, Manaroth at $28, Fizbo $30.58, Nefket at $32.46, Eleanor at just under $50, Delia at $65, and look at Rick Loneman, $65 and $258. Actually, there's more of him in circulation than Delia, but I just do not see very many of him hardly on the market. I'm surprised there's 6 of them. Because probably next week or 2 weeks I'll do the market watch and there'll be like 2 or 3. Only 258 in circulation. And then we'll look at the gold foil in just a second here. But yep, so $45 for Baron Fiat, $130 for Ulfga, $155 for Manaroth, $240 for Fizbo, only 46 in circulation. Nefket, only 27 in circulation, $419. Delia, 29 in circulation, so extremely low print runs on these things. These are almost like alpha legendaries. And then 990 for Eleanor. Let's look again at Rick. 23. So there's 23 of him in circulation. That's why I never see any for sale. So 23 of him. Yeah, so he is the lowest by just 4 under Nefket. And Nefket's going for 400. Okay, guys, there you have it. There is the Card Market Watch for Sunday, February 2nd, 2025. Just a deep dive into the entire Splinterlands market. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you learned something today. Hope you found some deals. If there's cards that you've been kind of on the fence about, or think, hey, I didn't know that card was that cheap, or is that few of that card available, I better pick it up now. So hopefully you guys got some tips, and I will see you next weekend with the Land Market Watch. Deciding if I am going to start a new account today or not. It's getting kind of late in the day, so I may do that, or I may push that back a couple of days. We'll see. But until next time, stay the course, keep on forging, have fun, and I'll see you soon. Take care.